This class, so I for some reasons I ate into the time, so you are welcome to today's class. Give me a minute, let me wipe my camera. Come to today's class, and then apologizing for the late coming. We want to treat what we want to treat today, right? As compared to last week's own that we did. It was on if I remember correctly. Yes, so let me just do a quick revision. The call kind of took it's a lot of this intensive discussion. So I can see one person here. Please, if you are here, give us a thumbs up. Pass to me. And then I apologize for the lateness. It shouldn't happen. Never happen. Never happen. So we went through some things like last time we had a meeting. It was about the economists. What are some of the opportunities you can have as economists? Now remember we did and the statements, the normative and then the positive statements. So we did that last time. Today's class, as per the topic I shared right on the class schedule, is going to be on economic tools. So if you are here, please give me a thumbs up for me to know that you are here. And if you cannot hear me, you let me know, okay? That you cannot hear me well. So if you are here, give me a thumbs up for me to know that you are active. You are here and then you are active. Okay, so welcome to the class once again. So as a last week, I'm sure most of you would have gone to think about the jobs you want to do. That you realize that you have so many opportunities you have for studying economics. So it is not only about the jobs that you are convenient with, but you have so many other opportunities for you, as stated in the previous video. So if you have not watched the previous video, I expect you to watch it. It's still there. So just click on the link and then you watch it. It is there. So today's class is going to be on economic tools, some of the tools we use as economics, right, to address issues. Last time we talked about the normative and the positive statements. The positive statements are statements that we make based on facts, right? Normative ones are the ones that you make based on your own thoughts. Okay. So hi Lydia, I can see you. I can see Lydia. So maybe the name of the phone you're using is Lydia. So we talked about the statements, the positive and then the normative one. So we saw that the positive one, you need facts to buttress whatever you are saying. For instance, if you want to say that they are building schools in your community, then you must have the facts to back that statement that yes, they are building a school. You actually saw a school. So you want to go a step further. If you want to deal with the positive statements, you need proof, right? So you want to find out how economists are able to get proofs, right, to tell you that this is what they are saying, it is true or not true. So they use something called economic tools, right? And then also we use economic analysis. When we talk about economic tools, we are going to see this in today's class. The things we use in solving our issues. So the things, not tools like hammer and then maybe how do you call it, a chainsaw. Hi Jeremy. Yes. Welcome to the class. Jeremy, I can see you. So it's not like those things that you can use. But when you talk about economic tools, right, we want to see that they are the things that we use, the methods we use, the techniques we use to study and analyze problems, right? So for instance, you when you were in your primary or junior high level or other lower levels, you saw that you were using things that you call graphs, right? If I don't know whether my camera can capture this, you can see something like this. That is what we call a graph, right? So economists use things like this to analyze issues. So for instance, if I want to say that I have 20 girls in my class, how am I going to use tools like a graph to do it? So you can use something like a graph that you can see. Why am I saying these tools, talking about these tools? They form the basis of everything we are going to learn in economics. So once you know them, if you start seeing them, you won't be wondering where are these ones coming from, what is their reason for being here. The reason for doing this is that we want to know that what are some of the things that economists will use. So when you are there and you see that you are seeing these things, for instance, I asked you guys to watch the news. If you watch news, you see that you will draw some, I don't know how many of you, if you have heard of bar chart before, let me know. A bar chart, you see that they draw bar charts, they draw bar chart, they see some lines that are roaming, especially when they are doing their introductions, you see some lines roaming in something as if tender or something. Those things are all tools that we use in analyzing our how do you call it, our problems or phenomenons or situations in economics. So when I talk about using analyzing means that you are judging something to know whether the thing is true or not true. So someone comes to tell you that I saw someone steal this book, is it true? You have to analyze. So it's a way of investigation that you do as an economist. So when you see us doing economic analysis, you call it economic analysis, we are trying to investigate whatever situation is at hand. If they say, for instance, there's no enough food in these schools, or probably there's no enough these facilities in this hospital, then you don't want to just listen to it anyway. Yes, and said that is true. You want to analyze it. So just as in our normal life at home that we treated in our first class, economics begins from home. What we are trying to say is that if, for instance, mommy has done cooked something nice, and then you suspect that one of your siblings have gone to take anything from the stew or from the soup, you don't just say that, oh, a sibling or something has taken it. If you even say that mommy or daddy has to analyze what you are saying, is it true or not? So as it means Jeremy, I'm using Jeremy because I see Jeremy's name. Please, if you are here, you give us a thumbs up for us to know, and then if you say even hi to us, I'm able to see your name to use you as an example too. So Jeremy or Lydia, assuming Jeremy is the one who suspects Lydia. Lydia, I'm sure the fish in the soup or the stew, you took it. The best thing they can do is to do what? Is to analyze. So mommy or daddy will analyze. What does it, is it true? The time that she's saying that Jeremy took the meat in the stew, is that or that around that time or Jeremy around? So what they are doing is to analyze the issue to see whether it is true or not. So this same way, economists, we do the same thing. So we call it economic analysis. In case or any time there's any issue, economists don't just jump into conclusion. So now that you know from the beginning that you are also an economist, it means that if any issues happen, either in the country or in the home, you don't just jump into conclusion that I know that this one happens. But what you have to do is to analyze. So that means that you are doing economic what? Analysis. Sorry, I don't know why my throat is a little dry this afternoon. Sorry. So what we can do is that in case of any situation, economists believe in analysis, which a way that I'm repeating myself again, that we investigate what happens. That investigation, we call it analysis. Analysis is what as ANALYSIS. We analyze things, we investigate, we try to look for the truth around a particular situation before we make a judgment whether this situation is true or is possible or not. Okay. Now, some of the tools I mentioned is that we use graphs. So I showed you the graph. You can so many graphs come. You have graphs like the bar charts. So at a lower level, you would have done things called the bar charts. Even in other subjects like mathematics, you have done something like bar charts. You have the pie charts. If you remember, let me know that if you remember any graph, you can text it for me to see the graph that you remember you drew. Either a pie chart, a bar chart, a histogram, and a whole lot. The ones you remember, please text it for me to see if you remember those ones. This one is like a quick text. So let me know the tools you remember. So you can use graphs. Sometimes we don't use only graphs. We are taking economic tools. We use words. So WASSCE is like, okay, if this situation, you said this is that, you investigate and use WASSCE. Once you said this happened from our investigation, so you see what we are using is not a table which I have or anything or a graph. I'm using WASSCE. So for instance, you will see that if I take a table, which is one of the things we can use statistical tools, these tools to use this. So let me show you to you. You can see a table here. I hope you can see it clearly. Let me show you to my camera. So I hope we can see this. Right, it's a table, and in this table I have something like, I want to know how many types people buy maybe a fruits, right? How many types people buy fruits, and I have like oranges, they buy like 4 times and everything. You know, and this same thing I can write it in words like people buy oranges 4 times more than they buy mango. That's a word words I've used. I can also use the same situation. Instead of using words, I can draw a graph. So I'll draw my x-axis. Unfortunately, if I had my laptop, I would have done a screen presentation for you. So please, sorry, bear with me if I'm trying to use my mouth and my hand. So at this point, the economy tool I'm using right now is what? WASSCE. Instead of actually using the graphs to be showing it to you. So please, when you are praying, pray hard for me. So I can able to fix my laptop, and then I'll be doing a presentation for you to see clearly. Okay. Until then, you can see that instead of using the words that 2 people bought oranges. How many people bought oranges? 4 people. How many people bought mango? 5 people. How many people bought banana? I have 4 people. How many people bought pear? 5 people. I drew a table. So that's another tool that I can use to say the same thing that I could have used words to say. So we can use words, we can use graphs, we can use tables. Right. So these are what we call economic tools. So at this point, let's retrace what we have done. Okay, so Jeremy says hi again. Okay, so hi again, Jeremy. So I said I talked about economic tools. And there are the things that we use. So there are the methods, the techniques, the things that we use to analyze that are happening. And then I said that some of those tools can be words that we use. Some of those tools can be graphical tools. That means you draw graphs. Some of the network is misbehaving with us. Those are some of the things we use as our tools in economics to address problems. So please, if you start seeing in your classes or in your studies or when you are learning, and you see that they are drawing tables, they are drawing curves, they are drawing graphs, what they are trying simply to do is that they are using an economic tool, a tool. So just like you have a carpenter, I want to make a chair, a table or something, you need those tools. You need hammer, you need your chainsaw, you need, or maybe your plier. If I'm mentioning the correct tools, let me know. If I'm not mentioning the right one, please mention some of the tools that you think you know that I'm not mentioning well. So they use those tools to make sure that they're able to get what they want, right? So the same way in economics, we also want to use tools to be able to do our analysis. Analysis, as I said, are judgments we make. So if you don't use words to make your judgments, or words in order to do your things, you can use graphs, and then also you can use statistical tools like tables. You draw a table and then you write all your information on a table. So that's why sometimes if you will see that they will say that using a table, write a number of this, that is a tool we are using. So it's not hammer, it's not chainsaw, but we call them tools in economics. Okay. If you have any questions in regarding what we have done so far, you can let me know in the comment section. You can type it for me in the chat section, and then I will address it. If not, then quickly we can go to for the second session of the class today, right? Which is going to be on the definitions of other terms we use. Remember last time we did some definitions on resources and other stuff that we did. Today I want us to do other definitions that we also do in economics. We use so many terms in economics. So we introduce them small, so that it doesn't become overwhelming. Oh, my throat, sorry. So our first part, we have done with the tools, and we have done with economics analysis. At this point, we want to talk about other things, words we use that are very interesting, that are very important for us to use, even we use them in our daily lives. One of them is wants. I remember I used it in the previous, I think, the second class or last class, last two classes. Yes. I talked about some words like wants, right? That wants are the desire, things we desire to have, right? There could be things that we can live without or things that we cannot live without. But once you want it, yes, I remember that was last class, yes. And then people mention things like, I think last two class they mentioned things like they wanted phones, they wanted their personal laptops, etc. Those are things you want. So in economics we use terms like wants. So my wants are maybe 3 textbooks, my wants are a phone, my wants are this and that. So we mention so many wants. So I want us to know that wants are our desires, things we prefer, we wish to have. So we term them in economics as wants. It's as simple as that, right? So, and I'm sure most of us use that term in the house. My wants are many, my wants are this. So if you say what I want, it means the thing that you desire to have, right? And then in those wants, we find things we call needs, NEEDS, needs. They are those wants that you cannot do without. What it means is that there are some things that you want to have, and those things are so important that if you don't have them, you can't survive. For instance, someone will say that I want a house. That's a nice thing. But someone can also say that, okay, I really need a house. It means that without a house, where will you sleep? At that point, that want is a want, but it's a need. You cannot do without. For instance, you say that I want water. You are very thirsty. I want water. You can also say that want is a need because you need water. You can't do without it. If you just starve yourself from the water, or maybe you are thirsty for a long time, the consequence you may not like. So at that point, though water is something you want, but at that point it's a need, which is also a want. So the needs are found in a want. And what we mean is that though the wants are all the things you desire, in those wants you find things that you cannot do without, right? So for instance, you need food, which are wants. If you're hungry, you have to eat. If you don't have food, I'm not sure you can survive unless you are doing fasting. And I'm not sure any of you want to do fasting when you have not planned to do it. So that is what we call wants. At this point, if you have any question, you write in the chat section. I'll answer it. If not, then I can continue to the next one that we talked about last time. We talked about means. No, we talked about resources. Yes, the resources, right? And we said that resources are the things that we use in satisfying our wants. So in this case, the resources and the means are the same. The means are spelled as MEANS, as means. So when we talk about means, they are the same as what we talked about earlier as the resources you need to satisfy your wants. So you call them the means. What are your means to getting water? Oh, I need money to go and buy the water and drink. So that resource is another name for what means. So when you see means, don't think that it is different from resources. They are the same. Okay. The next thing we want to discuss is the scarcity, which we have done already. So the scarcity of resources. I said in the previous, I think last class, if I'm sure, that the scarcity is where you don't have enough resources to satisfy all the wants you are craving for. If you say you want a laptop, some people saying they wanted a laptop, they wanted their own phones, they wanted whatever they wanted, house, car, whatever they want. You want to find out that the resources or the means you have, is it enough for you to buy those things? If it is not enough, then you say that you are experiencing a scarcity, right, of resource. So scarcity, if you want to term it, they are the limited availability of the resources to satisfy the things that you want. I'm saying it again. So scarcity refers to the limited availability of resources to satisfy the needs or your wants, right? If you have enough resources to satisfy every want, then my dear, you don't have any you don't have scarcity, problem of scarcity. But once you realize that you want something but you don't have enough to be able to acquire that thing, then you can say that you are facing a problem of scarcity. So remember, the scarcity is peculiar to everyone. What could be scarce for you could be in abundance for someone, right? So scarcity is relative to everyone. If, for instance, what you need is water, and I have so much water, you have scarcity of water, I have enough water. Maybe if you live in my country where sometimes the light goes off, the electricity goes off at any time. Some people, you may have abundant electricity, so you have so much light. But to some people, they have scarcity of light, so they get it some time of the day, and then another time of the day it is off. So they have scarcity, but you don't have. So the scarcity doesn't mean that everybody should have the same scarcity. No. After all, your wants are not the same. So once your wants are not the same, obviously the resources you have to satisfy them may not be the same. Okay. So at this point, we're done with wants, that they are the things we desire to have, the means, the things we need to be able to satisfy those wants, which are the same as resources we treated earlier in the previous video. And then scarcity, which means that you don't, no matter how you have your wants, if you don't have enough resources to be able to satisfy those wants, then you say that you have scarcity of resource. Remember, scarcity, as I said, is an individual thing. You may be having scarcity in one particular thing, someone else may be having it in another thing, right? So that is what we term scarcity. I'm seeing some people's network going up and down. Sorry for the network, but it will be recorded down. So when I'm done, I will not delete it. The class will be there. So anytime you want to watch it, it's still there. Until I decide to delete it. So but for now, I'll keep it there. Let's see other terms we use. We use choice. Right now, I'm sure everybody knows what choice is. So if you know what choice is, you write it for me in the comment section and I'll read it out. So don't be waiting to listen to my own. Then, so if you know what the word choice means, type it in the comment section and I will see and then read it for the others to also hear and benefit from your own. So back to what I'm saying, what we mean by choice as an economist, right, is that the decisions that, sorry, my network is misbehaving. So if you see me that I've gone off and on, it's the network misbehaving. So if you talk about choice, right, it's just like you are selecting from various alternatives. You have so many things that you have. For instance, if you have so many wants, you want phone, you want your tablets, you want your laptop, you want a nice shirt, a nice shoe, name your wants, and then you realize that you don't have enough resources, you'll be forced to make a choice. So if, for instance, even your parents or yourself, you go for shopping, or your parents take you for shopping, maybe Christmas shopping or something, and they tell you that choose anything you want, they'll buy it for you, but they give you a cut-off point. Whatever you choose should not be more than 200 cedis. It means you may see so many things that you desire, but you have to make a choice. Choose the one that you think that you have to pick. If not, the cut-off point they gave you, like if you're in Ghana, 200 Ghana cedis, it means whatever you select should not exceed 200 Ghana cedis. So if your things are, you are admiring so many things there, you have to choose which one should I buy, which one I shouldn't buy. So in this situation, you say that you are faced with the problem of choice. And the reason why you have a choice means selecting among other alternatives. You have so many things and you have to select. The act of selecting is what we term as choice. So if you are having a problem of choice, it is because of the main problem I always said economists we have, and that problem has always been scarcity. The moment we don't have scarcity anymore in existence, then we cease to have economics, because that is what is bringing. Just like when we don't have, I said it I think in our second video, that the moment we don't have any sickness in the world anymore, we don't need doctors, we don't need nurses, as simple as that. So the same way, we don't have, if you don't have any scarcity, we don't need economics. But in this situation, once you have scarcity, you are going to have a problem of choice. So because there's no enough, you have to select the ones that you can afford, the one that your resources can give you. So that's word choice means selecting among alternatives. So you have so many ones aligned down. Which one can I afford for now? That is what we call what choice. So before you make a choice, you'll be wondering that, oh, as I've seen them, then I can just choose any of them and buy. But economists want you to know that before you make a choice, You don't just get up and just choose because my network kept misbehaving, so sorry. You can have other things that you have as resources. So if I keep mentioning money, don't say that madam said the resource we need is money. No, time is also a resource, other things are resources. But we want to teach you that for you to be different from other people, you must have a wiser way, yes, of making your choice, and that puts you ahead. That is why I said everybody must do economics. So if you are doing, you are so privileged to do it because it makes you more wiser. If for instance they give you so many things to choose from, you just sit down and say maybe I don't know whether you'll be doing some how do you call it, singing along and then casting lots. Economics, you don't cast lots, like cast lots and say okay, the lot fell on this, so this one is what I'm picking. It's not a wise way of choosing things at all, or making a choice. So you want to find out which way can we make a choice that will be wise. We bring the concept, that's why we bring the concept of scale of preference, right? Scale of preference. If you have heard scale of preference before, let me know in the comment section if you have heard it before. Those who are coming in it, please give us a thumbs up so that we can get people watching more. So if you are in, please make sure you give us a thumbs up. Let's see. So what do you mean by scale of preference? I made my introduction that you must make a wise choice. Don't just get up and then choose just anyhow. You must apply wisdom. And then in that wisdom, how do we do it? We use scale of preference. Now you want to find out what is scale of preference. Scale of preference is simply, right, the arrangement or the ranking of your wants or your needs in order of preference or importance for you. So you arrange. Sorry, I have to be using words, which is one of the tools I just discussed. So you guys should be praying for me to get maybe a nice new laptop. Then I can do the presentation for you to see. But for now, let me use my words as one of the tools I just told you. So we have a scale of preference, right? Which means that you are ranking or you are writing, listing all your wants and all your needs in order of priority or importance to you. So you sit down and say, okay, what are some of the things I want? Then you write all of them down, just anyhow. You don't use any arrangement. Then now you want to use a scale of preference. So you sit back and take all the wants you have just written down or listed. Then you start, okay, I want phone, I want a shirt, I want some sneakers or shoes, I want some books. And then you now take those ones and then start, among all these ones, which one is very important for me? Maybe in your case it could be books, but okay, I mean, for in your case, so maybe you have some Christmas program or some program you want to go to and you need shoe. So though you need a book, you think that the book is not something you really need right now, but what you need the most is the shoe. So whilst writing your scale of preference, what you do is that you start listing those ones. The most important one, number one. Then the one that is the next important one, you list number two. The next important one, number three. The next important one, number four. The next one, number five. You list them until all your ones are finished. So in that situation, after you have finished listing them, you see when you want to make the choice now, you can just see that, oh, the most important one is the first one. So the first thing you do is to tackle the most important one. In that way, when you are making your choice, you are making a wise choice. If not, you just get up and say, okay, I need all these things, let me just pick one of them. And then you, after picking them, you go home or you be there and regret that, oh, when I had this opportunity, I should have chosen this, but I don't know why I chose this. So the wisest way to do it is to draw your scale of preference. It's simply, this scale of preference I'm saying is simply a list of your wants. And that list is not just a list, it's your arrangement. That the list is such that you have arranged all your wants according to how you prefer them to be. So the ones that are more important for you are at the top, and the ones that are least important, the less important, are at the bottom. So in case you want to make a choice, you start from the ones that are most important to you. So that is what we mean by a scale of preference. At the appropriate time, I will show you maybe a table showing maybe a scale of preference, maybe for myself or probably someone's scale of preference. But let me bring this for instance, this quick example. If you are a young person, right, you are in senior high or you are schooling, and then you have to draw a scale of preference for your life. You tell yourself, okay, what will be the most important thing? You write the things you need. You need education, you need a job, you need some money, you need children, you need what? You need marriage, etc. So you tell yourself per your age, which one should be first. So sort of preference is not only based on only your needs, you can apply it to your life. So you say, okay, the first one is that at this point, before I get a job, I need education. So your school will be first on your list, followed by probably a job, then followed by probably a marriage, followed by children. But if you do not draw a scale of preference, so let's see why people make unwise choices. I don't want to tell me that they're other thing, but why people make choices that are not wise. They don't have scale of preference on their life. So for instance, instead of choosing education, they say, let me choose baby. So they have babies first. Then they realize that, oh, I could have chosen education first. But then you would have messed up some things in your life already. So that tells you how important the choice is. Okay, Jeremy is saying that choice refers to a decision made by an individual business to allocate resources in a particular way. Okay, so he's referring his choice to an individual business. So that is a good definition for choice. So as I was saying before, Jeremy's comment came in, what we mean by choice is that it's not only about, which is a good so Jeremy, I like your comment, is perfect. Choice doesn't apply to only maybe probably businesses, as he has said, which is his comment is perfectly good. The choice also has to do with our life. So we are not studying economics to sit in a classroom and then is to say that I studied economics. You are studying it to apply it to your life each and every day. So each topic you are learning as you are growing in economics, what it means is that you have to apply it. If not, if you learn something and you don't apply it, or you don't see the relevance in your life right now before you grow up and have your own company or your own business, then it's better you stop learning it. But economics is not like that. If you drop it, you'll be in trouble. So it's better not think of dropping it. Okay, so I was saying that the choice, I was talking about the scale of preference, how we can apply it to our normal life. So right now, I gave people assignment the last time to watch news. And I gave you the jobs that you can do in economics. I pasted it on the platform. I'm sure most of you saw it. So those who have not seen it, I don't know, I'm not sure I deleted it. It should still be on the platform. So you can watch it and acquaint yourself with new other jobs you can dream of. It's not only about lawyer, teacher, who is the best job ever, and then other things. So at this point, you have used the scale of preference to make wise choices. If you have a scale of preference, you are going to make unwise choices because you don't know which one is more important anyway. So now your assignments, right, for today's class is going to be that, please, when you go home, yes, I remember I asked you to do the normative and the positive statements. I'm sure most of you did. If you didn't do it, that one you can be using it till. But this one, I need a feedback on it. Next time in class, I'll ask you. So don't pretend to forget. Make a scale of preference about your life. So just take a paper or something, write anything you want, right? You want school, you want this, you want that, whatever you want. So write it down and then make your scale of preference out of it. So write down your wants and then you tell yourself which one is the most important and you list it that way. That will guide you. That scale of preference you have done will guide you to know that, okay, I need to achieve this first. So like the example I gave, right, about someone's life, the person has a choice like education, and has a want, like education, has another want which is like a job. The other want is money, and the another want is marriage, another want is children. I think that is 5 or 6 I've listed. So let me count it again. So he wants education, job, education, children, marriage, job, money. That person must write or make sure he has a scale of preference. That I'm reiterating, that is your arrangement of your wants in order of importance to you. So to someone, if you take a mature person and you give the person either education or something, the person's maybe main focus may not be education for you. Maybe the person's main focus will be money. right? You probably later on before thinking of education. But you, I want your own for you to find out yourself. Draw a scale of preference for your life. Write it down. That okay, I want to do all this in my life. Which one is the first one should come first? Once you write it, that should be something that probably normally when you do that, I normally tell my girls that when you do that, paste it on your wall in your room. That every day you look at it. So that scale of preference tells you what you are supposed to do. If education is first, you make sure that you are going to make sure that you achieve that education. Once education goes per the scale of preference I gave you, a wise student only be education first. When you get education, you get a job. The education helps you get a job. The job gives you money, which is the third one. The money, then you can think of, okay, you are mature now, you get married. Married, then you go towards kids. But if the person doesn't draw the scale of preference, at the end, some of them will choose kids first. But if mistakenly someone has already chosen kids, it's not too late. You can just rewrite your scale of preference and then you follow your scale of preference. Okay. Now, the last thing I want us to do, then we bring today's class to a close, is opportunity costs. Opportunity costs. Before you get opportunity costs, it means you have a scale of preference. What it means is that opportunity cost is a cost that you incur by choosing something else. So it's like, for instance, what did you sacrifice by choosing what you have just chosen? So when you ask yourself that, um, what have I sacrificed by the choice I have made? The thing you sacrificed is called opportunity cost. So it's whatever you have sacrificed in order to gain something else. It's known as what? Opportunity cost. So I'm repeating again. Anything you have sacrificed or the sacrifice you have made in order to be able to get something else, we call that sacrifice opportunity cost. So let's say, for instance, a student, like let's use the scale of preference of a student that I give you, the typical one I give you. You have education, you have job. Remember, this one is arranged according to the order of priority. So you have education, you have a job, you have money, you have marriage first. It means that he's sacrificing looking for job. So the person is sacrificing job just to get education, because after all, that's the person